Greetings family, we're live on Revolutionary Camp. This is Bomani Technology. I'm here with my brother Kofi Bruce.
What's up?
Yes family, we are to talk about the Ghana-US military agreement deal. A deal that gives the US military access to Ghana facilities. And so we're also here to talk about the protests in that situation.
Right.
And my brother Kofi Bruce, you saw some of the videos of the protests. Let me know how you feel. Did you side with the people? Frustration and anger?
Not right off the bat. I didn't side with anyone, so I just tried to do a little bit more research and listen to what both sides were saying, and then I'll make my judgment from that. So it's two sides to this story, and which one is right, which one is wrong, which one should you go with, and which one you shouldn't. First of all, this so-called agreement, a lot of people on the side that were protesting, they think it's like was something new.
All right.
And to them it was new, because apparently they've been making deals with the United States this whole time as far as the U.S. military. So what happened this time is when the bill came up to be signed, someone introduced it into Parliament to make it like official law, because I guess before it was like a backhanded deal, because even what was it, the minister of
It was agreement, but it wasn't passed through Parliament.
Right.
So it's something that was set up in 1998.
So that's
under
first.
Jerry Rawlings. It gave
Right.
the U.S. access to Ghana facilities, but they're trying to push it through. And then there's a $20 million contribution offered to the improvement of some of these military and facilities. But there's one big embassy there in Ghana, right there by the W.E.B. Du Bois Center, and that's one of the biggest embassy I've ever seen. And it's so, for people who are freaking out that this thing just didn't happen. That base been built for a while under the Africa Command, where America has African commands there set up through their embassies. So go along the coast of West Africa. Senegal is a big one. I was in Benin a few months ago, and I was just trying to handle some business, and I was like, whoa, did I say U.S. Embassy? And I was like, that thing was big. I was like, it wasn't as big as the the one in Ghana, but it was that big. But that's the situation. When we're not a strong people and we're not banding together, we are making deals with the devil. So we have to really focus on building an Africa for the African people. So this military agreement give these devils unrestricted access to a host of Ghanaian facilities, a wide-ranging tax exemption, which is just, we shouldn't be giving any of these devils any kind of tax exemption.
Right.
As a matter of fact, we need to up the tax on them so we can use that as an investment to build Africa for the Africans. U.S. military to use the Ghana base and do their training exercise and so on. Ghana will bear the cost and take primary responsibility for securing the U.S. facilities in Ghana. So this is just a base agreement. But brother Kofi Bruce, speak on some of these things.
Just on this first part right here, when they introduced it, they said this just like an excerpt from it. It's just highlights of it. So we don't know the entire agreement that actually was signed yet. So some of the things that was said right off the bat about unrestricted access to Ghanaian facilities. You give the United States free reign to your land, and it's unrestricted, and then you're going to give them tax break where you don't have to pay taxes. Then you're going to allow them to use Ghana as a base for staging and deploying forces, but you don't call that a base. You're just going to use a base to be a base. That make a lot of sense to me. And then you want Ghana to pay for all of it. That's just the first part. So think about that for a second. It's like you giving away your country, and what do you get in return besides training that you can't get from your neighbor right next door? Well, high quality.
Your neighbor may not provide those things.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbors are Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire. So it's one of those situations like we talk about internally in Africa. The trade is about 11 to 15%,
Mm-hmm.
and you have more countries trading with Europe and America than trading with each other.
But what about, instead of giving all that up just for training, why don't you train yourself? Why do you need an outside country to come train you?
Yes, those agreements that countries sign with each other. But again, we're saying that we have to step it up in Africa. So why should we always look at these outsiders instead of looking at ourselves? And a lot of times we're not looking at ourselves because we all look like we're in the same situations. We need help from other people, but that's the level of situations where we have to get away from people. So it's work when we talk about this whole situation of Africa for the Africans. So family, Ghana will provide unimpeded access and use of agreed facilities and areas to the U.S. forces and contractors.
The forces and the contractors.
Yeah, so contractors, that's like one of those Larry words.
Right.
A contractor could be anybody.
Right, doing anything.
You could be a contractor. Any of you, family. Agreements allow
Don't they
U.S.
call
forces.
spies contractors?
As a matter of fact, that's a good way to become a spy. Or, that's a
Right.
good way to work in a spy is working as a contractor. That's spy stuff. Absolutely. With, on this, and we're just reading off some of the things that is the unimpeded access. Agreement allow U.S. forces and their contractors to undertake construction activities on and make alterations and improvement to agreed facilities and areas. So that is one of those serious issues, family. It's unfortunate, we can't give evil an access in. Because a lot of times that's all they need. It's kind of like, it's kind of like you giving a hacker that open door to go in and just jam up your system.
The words that they choose, they will provide unimpeded access to and use all agreed facilities. Y'all can do what y'all want and we can't bother you. I don't understand that. It's just the words, Something just don't seem right.
It doesn't. I mean,
and the guy tried to say that this agreement was in place. First he said that it's the same agreement. Then
this is the Minister of Defense you're talking about.
And then he said it.
This is like the person that's in charge of that operation.
He said it's been upgraded. So if it's been upgraded, it's not the same as the other one.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that means y'all added different stuff in it. So when he's speaking, and he could say it's the same old bill. But then he tell on himself and say that it was upgraded. But then he's saying it's the same old bill, don't worry. Go back and look what that bill was, so nothing changed. But at the same time, he said it's been upgraded. So which one is it? So, you just have to think about, is he actually telling the truth? And then from the...
And this person, once again, fam, we talk about the Ghana Defense Minister.
Yeah, and then from the people's point of view is, they looking at the upgrades that put in the bill that y'all released. These is the highlights, the part that they released so people could see. And the majority of the people was against it. They was against it. So who's right, who's wrong? But like I heard a couple of them say is that the government should represent the people.
Absolutely.
If they don't represent the people, then you shouldn't be there. So whatever the people say, the people's popular vote, that should be the end all. Be it right or wrong, so... both sides got a side to tell, but...
Absolutely. So, the government that... Because this is one of those wild situations. In Parliament, the minority energy that was opposing the bill before it got ratified was... they walked out. And it was like, wow. It's... But the wild thing about it is the majority was down with it. So they're basically telling the rest of the people in the country, saying, we're making this decision for you because it's going to be good for you.
Right. Right.
Is that what you got from...
That's basically what they're saying. Because he made it sound real good, but you had to really listen to what he was saying.
Family, is it a real good deal? And let's continue. All right, so family, United States contractors shall not be liable to pay tax or similar charges assessed within Ghana in connection with this agreement. So, which is like we talked about, it's crazy. It's like too much tax breaks is for white folks in Africa. When we're making these agreements and we have to get away from selling out the future.
But you come to my country
how much tax
and you don't have to pay
you
don't have to pay no tax. You come to my country, you don't have to pay no tax for being in my country. But I'm gonna tax my own people. But you're an outsider and you don't have to pay no tax. What are you bringing me that I'm gonna accept a deal like that? That's all I'm saying. This is one of the points that they released. A lot of them are real questionable. You have to ask what exactly do it mean. So, yeah, it's real deep.
Unfortunate, man, family. That's why it gets deep as the abyss. Yeah, definitely painful. Now let's talk about the import and export. Now the U.S. forces may also import into and export out and use in Ghana any personal property, equipment, supplies, material, technology, training, or services in connection with the agreement. So it's like that hole for evil coming true is just being opened up more and more.
Because you could use that, you know, the way this point is read is you can use that for, okay, no matter what we use, even if we build it or y'all give it to us for training purposes and it becomes our personal property, like what constitutes personal property? Is that going to be a second agreement when they borrow the equipment, or is it the U.S. personal property? So, but you able to import and export anything that you call personal property equipment, anything you want. So, you know, that's kind of questionable also. And it's exempt from any inspection. That's another part. That's the second part of that same thing. You can import, export anything you want, and you can't inspect it. Like, who signs a deal like that?
Yeah, absolutely, family. So we're not trying to freak you out or anything. We just we're just going through this with you, and this, you know, we have to make better decisions in the future, and really think about how we're gonna just, you know, build a strong Africa without these sellouts just, you know, signing away, you know, the future of our children. You know, because just like that, it's just like these, you know, that's why, you know, I'm just not a fan of these just, you know, government bastards who just run countries. You know, it's like your job in government is to represent the people. Let's continue, family. So now we're talking about import and export. Now, such importation, exportation, and use shall be exempt from inspection, license, and other restriction, custom duty, taxes, or any other charges assessed within Ghana.
Right.
I mean, these words are just becoming smoother and smoother. Like,
I'm
gonna just like do what the hell I want to do.
And we ain't gotta pay for it. You can take anything you want in and out, and we ain't gotta pay for it. And we ain't gotta do nothing. Y'all can't inspect it. We can just do what we want. You know, that's basically what they're saying.
Now, I want to know, do Ghana has access to America, just like America have access to Ghana? I think that's one of the points that one of the protesters were just brought up.
Right.
It's a good point.
And that's what these leaders should do, is start, you know, making these negotiations with Africa as being what you want to actually help. You know, not yourself, but Africa. You know, you gotta stand strong. You know, it's obviously we of value to these people, so we gotta raise our value and come on our terms. If we gonna make deals with them, the deals have to be in our favor. And this deal don't sound like, I just don't understand.
So you're not liking the deal so far. Let me read more into see if the deal. I'm gonna see if I can sweeten the deal up for you better, Kofi, so we can get you to agree with this deal.
All right.
All right. Import and export again. Aircraft, vehicles, and vessels operated by or at the time exclusively for the United States force may enter, exit, move freely within the territory and territorial waters of Ghana. Did I make it sweeter for you?
No. That's just what I was just saying. I was just almost alluding to that same point right there. You know, y'all could come and go at any time, exclusively, freely, in any of Ghana's territorial waters. And we can't question, like, what are y'all doing? What did you give up to sign that part of the deal? I mean, what was worth that? You know, you ain't sweetened it yet. You making it worse.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate situation, family. It's terrible, family. That's a drama that we're dealing with consistently every day. You know, we're, you know, more and more of our people and nations around the world are falling prey to America and these wicked European nations. It's like, you know, it's like we're basically telling ourselves and our children that we can't do nothing for ourselves. We can't build anything for ourselves. We can't, you know, it's like, is that clear message that's being sent when we're making deals that sign away the life of our future?
I mean,
of our children?
It's almost like a lot of the African nations, you know, they were all colonized, but it's almost like they moving back towards that. But this time, they signed it to be colonized again, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing about colonization. first of all, the colonialness never left. One of the things when you go down to Southern Africa, countries like Namibia and South Africa, they have like about 8% white people.
And what's the first
population.
thing? What's the first thing that they do whenever they come and they try and colonize a darker skinned race? This is documented history. Throughout the history, they always come in with a religious influence first. They go in and they talk to these people about their religion and they pump it in their head. And then they follow with the army. Same thing in Ghana. They pumped in the religion because Ghana, they don't practice that, higher their own traditional African religions anymore. Mostly it's Christianity, and then the rest is Islam, and then you got few traditional. So a lot of who you believe God is play a part into who you believe you are. And then, how you find out who you are is by your actions, how you live, like what you think of, what you study, what you approve, what you disapprove. But it just seemed like in Africa, we just don't get it right now. We just want to seem to, we still don't have no faith in ourselves. Or, is this plain old corruption?
Absolutely. So family in Ghana, appreciate the protest energy, keep fighting, we're going to keep building the energy. But one thing about the energy that's going on there in Ghana, family, that's the reason to reach out more to your brothers and sisters in the African diaspora, because together, together is the only way that we can build that strong Africa, because we see all the different invasions going on, and the most popular one is, the Asian invasions. Different Asian nations are outbidding and outdoing America and Europe in contracts and bids, in development in the African continent. So we talk like we always talk about, we don't want to be colonized by anybody, and in order for us not to be colonized by anybody, we as a people, there's so much great black minds around the entire world. Why aren't our focus on being a part of the future of Africa? And the same thing in the African continent. There's so much great minds on the continent and great minds outside the continent. Where's this more of the spearhead movement for us to reconnect as a people? Family, because that's all we got is us.
Right. Our leaders just have to be more aware and be more smart about the decisions that they make. Because if you look at a lot of the past so-called deals that been going on, Africa always get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
So it's like when will Africa learn?
Yeah. Bad deal. And that's one of the things when you this bully, oppressive nation, America and the European nations, you can just turn around to the Caribbean island and just do things in this. A lot of times, when they come on these deals on the table, I personally feel that the people that represent our black nations, they so terrified of these white devils, to the point where I'm like, did you think about the deal that you signed? Did you really, it's like, how can that be an acceptable deal? Did you just think about yourself and not think about the rest of us as a people? And same thing that's coming from somewhere, coming from Jamaica, where that's been my life, just growing up in Jamaica, just hearing about, our people complain about the bad deal governments are making and not representing people. And the same thing I've seen in Ghana. So family, I'm not leaving from Ghana, coming to America and going to Jamaica, and let me just reverse that. I'm not leaving from Jamaica to come to America and go to Ghana to deal with that. None of us want to even leave from America directly and go to Ghana and deal with that. We all, and sure, Ghanaians don't want to deal with this also. So we as a people, none of us want to deal with this. So that's why we have to literally just make better decisions and make sure that we're represented by people who's going to represent us.
Right.
It's too many times I'm hearing people saying, I'm like, how did these people get in office?
I was just about to say that. So you just have to start thinking, and how is it?
I need representation of the people.
How is it so many all over the place, the same type of person? Like, why won't we think about stuff like that? Like, is it? It's like all by accident that this keep happening all over again.
It's like all of them have the same mentality. All of the bad leadership. Like one of the things is this. You look across the Caribbean islands, and you look across the African nations, and bad leadership all across the board.
One thing that probably is a straight line that go through all of them, they probably were educated outside of their own place.
As a matter of fact, almost all of them were. So the thing of it is, like we talk about Nelson Mandela, what were they doing to Nelson Mandela all those years?
Right.
Because whenever you watch videos of him, like, you kind of lay back for someone that's been in jail for 27 years on an oppressive force.
Right.
You speak so eloquently and soft and smoothly, You know, so
But they could have.
that's what I'm saying. We never know what these people do to our folks,
Right.
Especially when they're in universities and they put these little white devil girls on them, and you know. So family, again, it's a lot to go into details on, but you know, we're gonna give that military deal that Ghana signed thumbs down, thumbs down.
Yeah.
You get no black power fist on that one.
I don't understand who.
I don't understand. I love you, Ghana, and we're gonna make things happen. Absolutely. And we're gonna make sure that these people don't take over the country and everything by making better deals. But yeah, we can't respect that one, family. So protesters, keep doing your thing, and we as a family, we're gonna figure this out, because literally, I'm being honest, family, especially African continent and everyone in the African diaspora, we have no choice and no way around this. We have got to band together and pull our resources together and show each other better love and take care of ourselves. It ain't nothing about no hating white people or any drama or garbage like that. It's about us loving each other and taking care of ourselves. Because literally, like here in Black America, we can't continue to expect white people to have social services where they're providing food stamps and they're providing this and that, and you know, they're providing housing. You know, eventually these people are gonna just work towards. They're just gonna pull those things from the system.
But
so
they providing all those things, and they providing education.
Yeah, exactly, and so we're literally dependent on all of these systems that they have in place. So it's beyond just situations in Liberia where Liberians are told to go home, or beyond just all the other situations of drama we're dealing with so many people from the Caribbean and America that's being deported at an alarm rate. And you know, same thing, in, folks are being sent to the African continent. One of my brothers in Ghana say, yeah, they're sacking our people, you know, which means they're getting rid of our people and sending them back.
That'd be funny, because basically they said, you've been here long enough, now go back. What if they go back to the first kidnapped victims that they brought here? Because I ain't going to call them slave and say, hey, y'all been here enough, it's time for y'all to go back.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how wild it get, man. So yeah, so family, you just got to do better deals. And you know, all of us are looking for African Union and other representation, because you know, we have the energy of the 6th region, and you know, people are really looking for all of these things to work effectively for the people, the African people of the entire world, you know. So family, you know, we're gonna give you some more on the next episode. Once again, I appreciate my brother Kofi Bruce coming through Bomani Technology, so we can share our, you know, share our opinions with you and share our views on this current situation with this bad military deal that folks in Ghana has made. And we also letting you know, family, don't use that as a reason not to, you know, come to Ghana. If you really feel that way, then you have other countries that have not made that deal yet anyway. But it just shows our position, and like we always talk about, brother, we got work to do, man.
So a lot of work.
We can't sit here and talk to you all day because we got work to do. So we're gonna get back to work, family, and you can reach out to us. All of our links are there in the description box and in videos, and we'll keep it strong, family.
Later.